Zoom, zoom, zoom. Everybody say well.
Welcome to the Moss Sports Podcast. I'm Andy Robertson, joined by Spencer Griffin, Spinny G, if you want to be called that. Mauricio LGT, El Gato, whatever you want to be called. Emmy Award-winning Beltran Hernandez. I haven't eaten anything since breakfast, so if I pass out on camera, Spencer and Mauricio are going to keep going, and we'll just go from there.
The risk level of this podcast just hit red zone.
Yeah. So a little bit different setup for me today. I don't have my monitor with my laptop, so it's going to be a little weird, but we'll make it through. So let's hit it off with the NBA. Adam Silver is not happy with KD's trade request. I'm sure that doesn't surprise you guys. But anyway, he says, I don't know whether he requested a trade or demanded one. Frankly, Silver said. I don't know why I read that weird. This needs to be a two-way street. Teams provide enormous security and guarantees to players, and the expectation in return is that they'll meet their end of the bargain. I'm realistic that there's always conversations going behind closed doors between players and the representatives and the teams. But we don't like to see players requesting trades, and we don't like to see it playing out the way it is. So this is a conversation we've had before.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys kind of agree with Adam Silver, or is it a little too far reaching?
I've been vocal on the Silver side of this a lot because I've said, you have a contract, you should play it out. But on the flip side, I do see where he's really just speaking for the owner's side, because that's kind of what the commissioner does.
Right.
But because in the same vein, if somebody's on a 4 or 5 year contract, the team can decide to trade, waive, do whatever with that player. So it's hard to argue that it's a contract, so it should be played all the way through unless the owners also follow that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard there. I don't know how you really meet in the middle on that. I do think, during the next CBA, it's definitely going to come up because not only do you have all of these huge trade requests, you also got players sitting out, John Wall, Ben Simmons, Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be a lot to talk about. I think a lockout's unavoidable.
Yeah.
So what will it be? The 2024,
2023. The current CBA runs through this next season, but they have an opt-out. Or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're probably right. I think I typed that wrong. 2024-25 with an opt-out after this season.
So
No, that's right. That would make sense. 2023 through 24, and then they have an opt-out after this season. I forgot what year we're in, apparently.
Okay. Yeah, so I think there's going to definitely be a lockout. How long that goes, I don't know, but there's just so much going on between the players and owners right now, and it really sucks for, I want to say, CJ McCollum. He's the newest president of the Players Association, so he's got his work cut out for him on this first CBA deal. So we'll see how he does. And I know I joked around a little bit. I said Silver's just mad that somebody wanted to go to the Suns for once. So, of course, he's got something to say.
Yeah, and we'll get to that in a second. I don't know, Mauricio, if you have anything that you want to weigh in on this.
Honestly, I wouldn't be mad for a lockout. I wouldn't miss basketball.
If it's not football or
football
or boxing, he's just going to hate on it.
As long as we have football, I'm good to go,
Yeah. We'll make Coach Malham sit next. He who should not be named sit next to you.
He's coming for him. I heard he lives in Houston now.
Mauricio's, I wouldn't say violently shaking his head, but he's pretty close there for our audio-only listeners.
As violent as Mauricio gets.
I think, Spencer, you make a good point there. I think it is Silver's job to work for the owners or governors or whatever they're called in the NBA.
Oh, that's right.
it is his job to work for them. But at the same time, you know, we've talked before, like players do have. I mean, I don't want to say players have too much power because, again, I don't want to sit here and be like, oh yeah, the owner or governors need to be in control of things because it is a two-way street. But, you know, at the end of the day, like we talked about, if a player is going to sign his contract extension with a team, like KD just signed this extension, and now he's wanting a trade request already. Like it, to me, that just doesn't, it's not good for the league as a whole.
Yeah, and but I guess at the same time, it is a request. So the team doesn't have to abide by that. But then you get into a point where I talked about where people sit out. I guess that's the thing. If they had to play, then they'd be fine. But it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that before, like you pointed out. I mean, Anthony Davis did it when he was in his last days of his Pelicans tenure. So it's just, I don't know, it's annoying as a fan because there was a time where I cared about the players in the uniform, but now I consider myself a fan of the uniform, the team, as opposed to a certain player. So, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I'd love the Bulls to get Kevin Durant, but
yeah,
it's not going to happen.
Yeah. I've always kind of hated that people, but I mean, I guess I get it. I shouldn't be too bitter about it. I just never did like the people always switching teams, like basically root for who LeBron, you know, is playing for, stuff like that. It just kind of wasn't my style, but I guess I get it because certain players can be fun to watch, but it's just the loyalty's not there anymore, so they're jumping around a lot.
As a grown man, I mean, it's the same thing with the jersey thing I talked about. Like, it's just weird wearing another man's name on the back of my jersey. I'm at that point now in my life.
When you're the same age or older, usually older now.
Yeah, but I mean, you mentioned who did you mention? I'm stupid. But you have the same thing. Yeah, LeBron, but you have the same thing with Tom Brady, where people who love him went from being Patriots fans, quotation marks, to Buccaneers fans. So
yeah, that's funny. You're saying the exact same. Like my friend follows LeBron around and Tom Brady.
Oh my gosh,
he's insufferable when it comes to sports fandom.
Wow. Or you have those fans that are Lakers, Patriots, Yankees, whatever fans, and you're just like
every time,
like Mauricio.
No, don't shake your head. You're a Dodgers, Rams. You know, don't even.
No, but I do know people like that just follow a specific player no matter where he goes. You know.
If you would you ever do that? If you had to, who would you pick? I know it would be NFL, but who would you pick, Mo?
Aaron Donald, probably.
Okay. A little bit.
What if he retires in the middle of the season?
After a 2-year extension.
Mauricio likes players that choke other players on the field.
I was going to say, he's kind of dirty, bro.
You got to do what you got to do now.
Yep.
You know, you say that, though, Andy, about, I mean, and I say it, too, about not liking people that follow players, but I couldn't say that I would be opposed to following somebody like Devin Booker or Mikal Bridges if they left. You know, I don't know that I'd fully commit to the team, but I'd definitely be a fan of them still.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just don't feel attached to anybody on the Bulls, and I mean, I don't feel any attachment to anybody on the Cubs really, except for maybe Wilson Contreras because he's been there for a while.
Robertson.
Well, nah. I mean, he's.
Nah.
I went into the season expecting him to not last too long on the team, so.
Yeah.
Some kind of somewhat. Spencer went through an emotional roller coaster this week.
Well, for 48 hours.
Well, yeah. It wasn't long. Like Thursday, it was the emotional roller coaster. DeAndre Ayton signed a 4-year, $133 million offer sheet with Indiana. And so it was kind of like one of those, all right. Spencer was like, all right, he's gone. And then the Suns ended up matching it. I mean, we talked offline in the chat about if they would or what would happen. You mentioned locker room chemistry with him coming back.
Mm-hmm.
I guess before we get to locker room chemistry, do you want to just go through your emotions that day?
I was actually like super bummed out. I mean, I don't try to let sports ruin my day or anything like that, but I was like, oh man, I was hella bummed out because I was like, we drafted this guy first overall over Luka, and then you're just gonna let him walk for nothing. It's just it was so bad. And to me, I feel like he's super disrespected as a player too. He's taken a backseat role when he's been asked to, and then all of a sudden, you get asked to take this backseat role. Of course, your stats aren't going to look as good as they could, and then they're like, "Okay, we don't think you deserve the max because your stats aren't this good." Well, you're the one that asked me to take that role, so I did exactly that for you. Now, does he need to improve in some areas? Yes, he should be more physical. He should be throwing the ball down, really bodying people in the paint, and maybe he'll get there. But he's a perfect fit for the Suns right now. And I'm glad that they did decide to end up signing him back because thank God they won't lose him for nothing. They'll have to wait until maybe January 15th to trade him if they do try to do so. But you did mention locker room chemistry. Yeah, it's probably going to be a bit fractured. But those guys, I mean, they're adults. Surely they can put that past them, right? I mean, I guess, well, I say that, and NBA is kind of its own drama show. So we'll see if that happens. But I'd rather the locker room suck a little bit than have to lose this guy for nothing. At least we can trade, maybe get some good players back, some picks, Miles Turner, something.
See, I guess I'm going to kind of disagree with you on the locker room chemistry, though, because, I mean, it's not his fault that the Suns didn't offer him that 5-year max or whatever, right?
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm not saying it is his fault.
Yeah, and so, I mean, I get where you're coming from with the chemistry, but I'm also kind of like, yeah, I mean, it's not his fault, though. Yeah, he signed an offer sheet somewhere else, but at the end of the day, I mean...
Well, I think, I didn't explain far enough, I guess, on that. Okay. That's not the reason for the locker room chemistry issues. There's been reports come out that he and Chris Paul and Monty Williams are not getting along. Chris Paul and Monty Williams don't get along with Ayton, apparently. That's been the reports. I should have probably explained that. But I think that's where the chemistry stuff comes from.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense then. So I will recant my statement.
Oh, I appreciate that.
See, where was it going with? Oh, yeah. So since the Suns matched the offer sheet, I guess this takes them out of the Kevin Durant running until he's available.
Mm-hmm.
But then, I mean, that kind of helps with the Suns, though, because you have a 4-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to give up as much. But then the Nets may not want to go for that too. So
I'm all aboard the mending fences and running back a 64-win team for next season. That's what I wanted to do the whole time. I get the appeal of adding Kevin Durant, but let's not act like he's 24, 25, 26 years old. He's 34. He's coming off some major injuries. Why not just you had a 64-win team, top of the league.
It got beat by a fluky Mavericks team.
Yeah, just run it back. See what they can do. Chris Paul is getting older, but just see what they can do. And shut your damn mouth, Mauricio.
A team with systematic failure.
There it is. Okay. He had to get a shot in.
Yeah. I mean, the Suns have been one of the better teams in the league over the last couple of seasons. So, I mean, why not keep going with what you have? Yeah, you could. Long-suffering fan.
Yeah, well, it kind of goes back to the Browns, and we weren't as bad as the Browns, but they got rid of Baker after he finally led them to winning season, and then it's kind of like the Suns. You finally get good, you finally have some consistency, and you want to change it up. Like, I get trying to go for the championship, but at the same time, why ruin something good that you finally worked hard to achieve?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it just wasn't smart on Sarver's.
Nothing
at all, and
he's not the brightest man.
I mean, it took too long for the Suns to get to this point, and they were willing to give it up. So
there have been reports that he is now going to be willing to pay the luxury tax. I'll believe it when I see it.
Oh yeah, that's another thing.
Also, though, some people are saying that he's just willing to do that because this is probably his last season owning the team because of the investigation stuff. So,
yeah, because I did see that the Suns are now going to be in the luxury tax, so that,
I guess they might be able to avoid it if they waived and stretched Dario Saric. I could be wrong on that, though.
Yeah. We have about 10 minutes left. I'm trying to set up a new meeting.
Okay. I mean,
so I only have one
this meeting with a little ball sack action.
I guess I can talk about it off while I'm doing this.
Yeah, you want to talk about ball sacks?
Yeah, we can talk about ball sacks. So ESPN in their infinite wisdom decided to take a tweet by Ballsack Sports, which is kind of like the Onion for sports, I guess you can say, and wasn't a real quote by Ja Morant saying that I don't remember exactly what it said. Something about he can beat Michael Jordan, but Ja's actual quote was like, "I can cook Michael Jordan," which
yeah.
That's a couple.
No, he said things. That's what he said. He said Michael Jordan would just be a regular star in today's game.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's what it was. Yeah. So sorry, I'm doing all this clicking. Try to stop.
No, you're good. But I mean, he's still out of pocket with the Michael Jordan comment of cooking him because Michael Jordan's a defensive player of the year. He's not cooking Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan is definitely going to score on bottom 10 defensive player in the league.
So. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, no, the point is not the quote. The point is ESPN taking it and running with it like Ja actually said it.
I laughed so hard because how do they keep it? Is not the first time they keep getting ball sacked, and the ball sack sports got taken off of Twitter for a while, and somehow they got back on. I'll give them credit because every time that ESPN gets ball sacked, they come up with like the best quotes because they're just outside of reach that they're not real, but they still sound like they could be real. So props to them for that. And then it's always funny because I mean their name's Ball Sack Sports, so when you get burned, it's hilarious.
Yeah, I was watching another podcast, the Clickbait Sports. I was watching those guys, and they were talking about. I guess Scooter called them butt crack sports on accident, and so I was laughing at that for a while.
ESPN always getting ball sacked or always getting burned by Barry McCockiner.
Yeah, Don Keedick. But yeah, so it blows my mind that ESPN is this, and we've talked about this before, but how ESPN just wants to get out information so quickly and stir the pot that they don't even research anything to make sure that it's real, that they'll just put it out. I mean, this is Bishop Sycamore all over again. Pretty much.
I forgot about that. Oh man, that was what a blunder. Oh my God.
I wish we could have talked about Bishop Sycamore on the podcast. That would have been a good time.
That I don't know if they can top that. That's the biggest mess up. Like that team got just obliterated and somehow lied their way to the top because they didn't get vetted. Oh my gosh.
That was hilarious. Oh my gosh. So funny.
I feel like I was watching that like live too, and just because there wasn't no football, and I was like, I'll watch it. And they were getting beat like 60-0. I was like, this team sucks.
Why would ESPN put this game on? Well, now we know.
Oh goodness!
Surprised no Mauricio. Oh, there we go.
I was gonna say like what a high school team from Arkansas, like I don't know, like Mills or like Parkview or somebody. I think they would have done better than the.
Is Mills even a school anymore?
Yeah, Mills is a school.
I thought they closed.
No, they
so it was
Fair and McClellan were merged.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Into the Southwest. What is it? Southwest
and
the Southwest High School Griffin.
Oh, are they really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought it might be good. They had a bigger pool to get from.
No, they're awful.
Would any of those teams have done better than Bishop Sycamore?
Probably not. I mean, it's IMG Academy. They're probably going to beat whoever you put in front of them, but then you definitely going to beat somebody that's that low tier.
I mean, if you Pulaski Academy might be able to
hang some, yeah. But it won't defend well, but
no.
What about Greenwood or Bentonville?
They might have got like one touchdown. I still don't think it'd have been great. You guys want to move into this next meeting?
We can. We've got like 4 minutes in.
Yeah, I guess we can go ahead and skip on to the next sport.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you guys won't have too much to talk about with the NHL.
I won't.
So free agency began this last Wednesday. In some Spot Track, which follows all the contracts around different sports, they tweeted around 2 p.m. Wednesday that at that point, 35 NHL free agent signings have been announced, and it combined for a $265 million value, or one Nikola Jokic extension. Like,
that's crazy.
Just to show the difference between NBA and NHL contracts.
Insane.
Wild. Kind of the surprising move of the whole free agency was Johnny Gaudreau turned down about $17 million to return to Calgary to go to Columbus. I think the thing was that he has family in South New Jersey, so they kind of figured that, I mean, at some point you knew that he wasn't going to return to Calgary, but I think the Flyers, Philadelphia Flyers, the New Jersey Devils, and the Columbus Blue Jackets were all in play, and he decided to go to Columbus, which is kind of weird. But
I mean, family kind of supersedes everything, and when you start making over a certain amount of money, turning down that much isn't as crazy as I think it sounds. I'm acting like I know from experience. No, I wouldn't turn down $17 million. Send me to Iceland. I don't care.
Yeah, but he's going from Western Canada to Eastern, or like Midwest U.S. Yeah. So I mean, he's gonna be closer to family. Max Pacioretty was traded from the Vegas Golden Knights to the Carolina Hurricanes. And then among all the deals that happened, there's too many to cover in this podcast, but Darcy Kemper signed with the Capitals and Jack Campbell signed with the Oilers, both 5-year, $25 million deals. So, we'll go ahead and get into, this is going to be a quick podcast unless we talk about some other things.
Mauricio's going to have some stuff to talk about with NFL.
So. Oh, yeah, when we get to NFL, he'll go off. So I guess we'll see you guys in the next meeting.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Yeah, so the Blue Jays have fired Charlie Montoyo. I don't have the standings in front of me. I switched phones today, so I don't have my baseball app up yet. But when I looked, the Blue Jays were like a game over 500, a game below 500, or something like that, and they should have been they were talked about as one of the favorites to win the AL East. So, I mean, the reason to fire your manager, I've heard that the players weren't really listening to him anymore. So when you get in that situation, it's kind of not good. But I don't know if you guys have any thoughts about that or not. But I did see recently that the Angels are like 11-50 or something since they fired Joe Madden.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
So probably not a good decision on Los Angeles' part for there.
We thought it was weird to begin with, but I didn't realize it would go like that. Usually you see a little bit of surge right after your coach or manager's fired, a little rejuvenation from the team, but apparently not.
Yeah, I mean, it's worked for the Phillies.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not looking good over in for the Angels.
What's the pitcher the Angels have? What's his name? The guy from Japan?
Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, I saw a post somebody yesterday. I think it's like with him as the starting pitcher, they're 6-0, and then when anybody else starts as pitcher, they're all 1-25.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, it's a mess. But
starting every game.
Yeah. So I did see that the what was it? Oh, the Mariners going into today were on a 13-game winning streak. And today is the final day before the All-Star break, and the Orioles were on a winning streak as well.
Mm-hmm.
So nice little winning streak there for those guys, which I guess leading into the All-Star break. So All-Star players have been named. I'm not going to go through those. There's too many.
Yeah.
But the home run derby field has been set. So we've got Ronald Acuna Jr., Albert Pujols, Corey Seager, Julio Rodriguez, Kyle Schwarber, Juan Soto, Jose Ramirez, Pete Alonso. Who do you guys have winning this thing? I know you pay attention to.
got me my one Soto. I think he's got it.
Pujols.
I knew somebody would say it. I mean,
I don't see it.
He could.
I think he's just there for the
nostalgic.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna go Corey Seager.
Okay.
He's going back to his former ballpark. So.
Oh, you got the history angle.
Well, you know.
Okay. I mean, he would be familiar with it.
Yeah. So the brackets out, I don't really know what I forgot what it looks like, but Pete Alonso has won a home run derby before. Kyle Schwarber was a runner-up. I don't remember if Pujols has participated much or won, so I don't.
Yeah. And Acuna is coming off of an injury, right? So
yeah,
he may phone it in a little bit.
Maybe, but I mean, he's been healthy for a little bit now, but he's I don't know.
He still wouldn't want to risk it.
Yeah. And so this next topic, I don't know that we want to dig too far in because I know people have their feelings about it. But so 10 Royals players could not make the trip to Toronto because they are unvaccinated. Whit Merrifield, one of the longest tenured Royals, said that he basically, like, if he were to get the vaccine, it would probably be for a team that were competing. If they had to go to the playoffs and go to Toronto, he'd get his vaccine. And the Royals owner took exception to that. I don't know. It's just a big mess. I don't know what you guys have to say, how far you want to dig into this.
We actually saw that almost exact situation in the NBA with Andrew Wiggins. He was unvaccinated and, it was causing some issues, which, I mean, all around the NBA, it kind of did with Kyrie, Ben Simmons. It's like all these people that weren't vaccinated couldn't travel to certain places and couldn't play. So Andrew Wiggins decided, and he's actually got a bit of a history with pharmaceuticals. He's had some bad reactions, so his apprehension is kind of warranted for some history with that. But he ended up deciding for the betterment of the team to go ahead and get. I think he got the one shot Johnson & Johnson to kind of get it out of the way and be able to travel and stuff. And it ended up working out because, like you said, that's a team that was on their way to compete for a championship and ultimately won. Yeah. And so, it had a huge impact. Now, would a player who, for whatever reason, has views against the vaccine, but plays for somebody like, I'll still use the NBA, like the Kings would, no, they're probably not going to get it because the Kings aren't competing. So I do get where they're coming from. If they were on a better team, I think it would be a different situation, but it's whatever. The team proved that they could win without those guys too, because I know they took at least one game in Toronto. So props to them.
Yeah, I saw there were people saying like this is going to be where the Royals are going to find out their minor leaguers are better than their major league players.
Oh Lord, yeah.
But what's the saying about to get on the thing or get up?
Oh, piss or get off the pot.
Yeah, like if you do it or not, or get out of the way,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's your job. It's like they ask you to do all these things for work. It's one more thing you have to do for work. Do it or get out of the way.
Well, and and I guess we'll go ahead and get into it. My thought on all that is too, like, we've going to school, like, growing up, we had to get vaccines all the time for, you had to be, if you wanted to go to public schools, you had to get certain vaccines. If you want to be in the military, you have to get a ton of vaccines, especially with all the travel. So to me, it's no different than any of that. So it's just another one on the list. Go check it off. Go on about your day. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You're getting paid all that money. I mean, if they wanted me to do jumping jacks, I would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think the difference here is, though, they're not mandating the vaccines for players. I think one Royals player argued that he lives a healthy lifestyle, his body's healthy, and he didn't want to disrupt it by, it's whatever.
That's good for him, but it's not for him,
Right.
It's for people around him.
Yeah, so. And I think a lot of it is a lot of misconceptions about the vaccine too, because you see the arguments about, oh, well, you can still get it. Well, you can still get the flu when you get the flu vaccine. That doesn't mean it's the
fact that you're not getting it and going into the hospital and dying.
Yeah. So, I don't know. There's all kind of weird arguments about it. And
it's cool. We're about to lose half of our viewership. No biggie.
I don't think I said anything wrong. I don't know. I mean, people just have their own opinions about everything.
We're losing Giovanni for sure.
There's a lot of backtracking here, Andy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, no, I'm just saying, like, nobody can see eye to eye on everything.
Yeah.
So it's just
you know who
it's kind of
backtracked
pointless
too?
getting upset about all this.
You know who backtracked as well?
Uh-oh.
Who's
The
that?
Russians in World War II.
Oh my gosh. Always with the history.
No,
Sounds
that
very
was the
familiar.
Germans when they invaded Russia.
But the Russians were allies and they were backtracking real quick and sounds familiar.
How do you know? I don't know. I'm done.
Mauricio says, "Oh, Andy's wearing red. He's Russian." Yeah,
I don't do history.
There we go.
Okay.
Russia, Chicago Cubs.
Okay, I don't see how that relates. So Juan Soto turned down a 15-year, $440 million deal. I did the math. That was like $29.3 million a year. He's 23 years old. I don't blame him for turning that down.
Really?
Yeah. Because when you have like Mike Trout getting paid Max Scherzer is getting paid $43 million a year. So why should Juan Soto take it?
But but are their contracts like that lengthy?
No, Scherzer's is like 3 years. But I mean, okay, let me look up Mike Trout's contract real quick. Because
and I'll talk about this while you're looking it up. So to me, and I don't know, I guess there would have to be some communication with Soto and the club. I didn't know if maybe he values length in the contract, because some people would, that guarantees you money for 15 years. It's a big deal. I think, and we've talked about it in the past, that's something that I would definitely value if I were looking at a contract a la Bobby Bonilla. We've talked about him. I would want that, give me a 60-year contract, pay me $1 million a year. I don't care, because that stability is nice. So maybe that was kind of the sticking point with him. And they were like, hey, we can do this for you, but you're not going to get paid as much. And he was like, oh, well, that's a lot less. So no, I'm turning it down, which would make more sense. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But you know what you would do? Like, sign one of those contracts, and then, because obviously it guarantees, even like you can say, like, you're going to still get paid on the road. And then just don't give your effort the whole way. And then just kind of ride it out,
Give like 50% the whole way.
Yeah, swing halfway. Pitch halfway there,
That's dirty.
And then you get let go, and then you can just sit at home the rest, and you have to spend 162 games a year.
But most of these dudes, they love the game. So like getting out there, and when you're that competitive, you can't. It's impossible to give less than 100%.
Can you love it as much if you can sit at home and still get paid?
No, I would. No, like that's what I'm saying. I love basketball. I'd rather go out there and play.
And also, like Juan Soto, I certainly don't want to do a stereotype here when I say, oh, it's Javi.
Oh.
But Juan Soto, like, I don't want to be say Juan Soto comes from this type of environment or whatever, but he is probably from the Caribbean. You don't know how.
Is he?
How wealthy they are. Yeah, I don't exactly know where he's from. I can look that up in a second, but like, I don't know how his family is money-wise, and so he may want to provide for his family.
Whoa, what a cool nickname. Sorry, I just got really excited. His nickname is Childish Bambino. Is that not the coolest nickname you've ever heard?
That's pretty awesome.
Wow, that blows my mind.
Yeah, so Soto is from Dominican
right.
Republic. So, I just don't know how well off his family is. And I know $29 million would surely help. But
a little bit.
Also, Mike Trout was a 12-year, $426.5 million. So it's like a little more than $35 million a year.
Yeah.
So why would 23-year-old Juan Soto want to be paid $29 million for the next 15 years when Mike Trout is getting paid? And Juan Soto is considered one of the best hitters in the league too. So
yeah, and again, I think it was a kind of how do I want to say, just kind of a shot in the dark for the team to say, hey, here's this longevity contract rather than this big 2, 3, 4, 5-year deal.
Yeah,
huge sum of money. It's just stretched a little differently. But no, I get what you're saying, because from a team's perspective here, Yeah, it's less money annually, right? But at the same time, the later years of that contract, when he's 34, 35, 36 years old, he's probably getting paid a lot more than he's worth. So it evens out that way. And that's probably their thought process.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine probably it'll be front loaded though. But at the same time, he'll be able to play designated hitter, so he won't have to worry about playing the field.
True.
So I mean, Nelson Cruz is 41 and he's still playing. So he may not playing the best as not hitting the best as he has in the past, but
I mean, if you've got Pujols geriatric ass out there still hitting home runs, anything can happen.
Yeah. And so one GM said something about they said like the trade package it would take to acquire him would be like a Herschel Walker type trade, which I mean that's a little bit before our time, but it was like 3 first-round draft picks in a row or something like that. It helped build the Cowboys dynasty of the 90s.
That's crazy.
So,
I mean, it makes sense though, because he's the best, one of the best, if not the best hitter in the league. He's 23 years old. Of course, it would take a historic amount of players and assets to acquire that.
Yeah, and that's not him requesting a trade. That's the Nationals having control over his arbitration years, and then offering him a contract, and he turns it down. So, I mean, this isn't the KD situation where he's requesting a trade. It's both parties or the Nationals are doing what's best for them, and if they can trade him and get a lot of different players that can help their team get better quickly, then
I'm gonna doubt that anybody's gonna be able to come to the table with enough to entice them to let him go.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. But anyway, well, speaking of the Cowboys, we're not going to talk about the Cowboys just yet. I guess we can, because Dalton Schultz has not signed his franchise tag. Neither has Mike Gesicki, Jesse Bates, nor has Orlando Brown Jr. The deadline was Friday, I think it was, to sign their franchise tag, and those guys did not. So now they'll have the option to hold out or sign a new contract. So I don't know what you guys think about that. I mean, I do have thoughts about Orlando Brown Jr. in a second. But.
Yeah, I was going to let Mauricio talk because I need to look at – I saw something really interesting because I felt one way about Orlando Brown Jr., and then I read some stuff that made me flip. So, Mauricio, take it away.
I respect them because who wants to sign with the Cowboys? Who wants to play for McCarthy? And for what's the guy's name? The owner, Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones.
Yeah. Who wants to deal with all that?
He said, "Who wants to play for the Cowboys?"
But it's once your franchise tag is that's it, right? Like you don't have an option.
Yeah, I think you have to play on the franchise tag.
You don't have to. You can hold out if you don't want to sign it. But I mean, we've seen before though, like Le'Veon Bell pretty much destroyed his career because he held out with the Steelers.
That's right. Yeah, nobody wants to do that.
Yeah. So,
all right, I found my my Orlando Brown material here. Let me read it off. So at first, because Orlando Brown Jr. used to play for the Ravens. Obviously, they let him go to the Chiefs.
Yeah, the Chiefs traded for him.
Yeah, I think I want to say he was playing guard at the Ravens and wanted to be a tackle. And
they were making him play guard and then sometimes right tackle, but he wanted to be left tackle and get that left tackle money. But they kept moving him around.
Well, I mean, it's because the Ravens had Ronnie Stanley, or Staley.
He was always going to be behind them,
So I remember Orlando Brown ran a really terrible 40, had some really bad measurables at the combine, but it ended up not mattering. It was pretty cool. But so at first I was like, this is why the Ravens let him walk, but then I read where the offer was for $91 million over the first 5 years, and then the 6th year had an inflated salary of $40 million. just so it inflated the average annual salary. So it made it look like he was getting paid at the top of the market when really they would probably just waive him before that year ever happened. So he's not getting that payday, which is super jacked up. So now I see why he turned that down.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw that they offered him a significant contract. The Chiefs did. He wanted to be paid like the top. Like he wanted to be paid the top as the highest left tackle in the league, highest tackle in the league, I guess. And
is that what he explicitly said?
That's what I've heard.
Yeah,
I don't know that he explicitly said it, but I don't know. I read that the Chiefs didn't want to reset the trade market or the tackle market for him. And then something that hasn't been talked about in a lot of this is like just kind of know the inside stuff. So Patrick Mahomes' extension doesn't kick in until next year, where he got paid like $500 million or $500,000. No,
yeah, he was still on his regular deal before then.
So I mean, the cap situation is going to be rough for the Chiefs after this year if they sign Orlando Brown. And I also saw that while he's a good run blocker, he's not a great pass blocker. So
yeah, that's why he worked out better for the Ravens, who run the ball a lot more.
Yeah. So that. I mean, the Chiefs can throw Joe Thuney out there if they need to. They have Andrew Wiley. So, I mean, there are options that they can go. There's a younger guy. I forgot his name. I don't remember off the top of my head, but there's a younger guy they have that they'll probably try out a little bit in camp and in preseason a little bit to see what he does. I don't know.
So do you think Brown is gone? Or because I heard that they could franchise tag him next year as well.
Yeah, they can. I mean, it's up to him if he wants to play on his contract, then he'll have to.
That's another thing I saw. They might be expecting to go into the first week of training camp without him.
Yeah.
I feel like they kind of insulted him a little bit with that offer. Not that it was like terrible, but having it so backloaded when you're anticipating on waiving him and not paying him that final year is
I mean, it's a little messed up, but it's I guess how the league works.
Yeah, maybe they thought he wouldn't catch on.
Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, like, do you have any thoughts about the other guys, Spencer? I know Mauricio said that no one wants to play for the Cowboys for Dalton Schultz.
Schultz, Gesicki, and Bates. I'm not huge on Gesicki. He's good, but he has some definite flaws.
Well, I think his production would probably go down too with Tyreek Hill in the mix with Jalen Waddle.
That's a really good point. Jesse Bates, I remember reading a little bit, but I can't remember. Dalton Schultz is very good. I think.
He broke out this last year.
Yeah, I think he has a good grounds for doing what he's doing.
Yeah, and I mean with what is his name? Michael Gallup coming back off his injury. I mean, you have CeeDee Lamb, and then probably Dalton Schultz might be the guy until Gallup is at full speed.
And Dak seems like the kind of guy that does a lot of check downs to the tight end.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So a not so great player was from N'Keal Harry was traded from the Patriots to the Bears. The Bears are not doing Justin Fields any favors in the wide receiver market or in the wide receiver room. So and I don't know what the Bears are doing.
That kills me though. Like for Justin Fields, I feel like they've always had just some crap receivers.
Yeah, Alshon Jeffrey was probably the best that I can remember recently. I mean, Allen Robinson had some good years until last year was awful.
So do you know the details of that trade? Because like, what do you get back for N'Keal Harry? Like a gift card to Walmart or
the air out of the deflated Tom Brady footballs?
Yeah, it couldn't have been much. It had to have been like a 7th, 8th round conditional pick or something.
I don't know. I'll look it up real quick.
Because to see that it was traded and not just released and signed kind of blew my mind alone.
Let's see here. They got a 7th round pick in 2024.
Right.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's awful. So he was a former 1st round pick. Hasn't done anything. So
Well, I don't expect them to do anything, especially in Chicago. So.
No. I mean, I think their offensive line is pretty bad too.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty bad couple years.
How good would N'Keal Harry be on the Rams, Mauricio?
We're okay.
OBJ status. Squad.
OBJ. I forgot about OBJ.
We're about to talk about some, just kind of in passing, some Rams receiver.
I need to go make sure my computer's not charging for some reason, so I'll be right back.
Do you want me to go ahead and continue?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay.
I'll pick it up in a second.
So, Justin Jefferson, I guess this is for Mauricio right now. Justin Jefferson said that Davante Adams is the NFL's best wide receiver, but after this year, it'll be him. So we saw Justin Jefferson had 108 receptions last season for 1,616 yards. And that was the second most in the NFL behind Cooper Kupp, who had an incredible 1,947 yards, and ahead of Adams, who had 1,553 yards.
Yards.
Yards, I saw that. So, so Justin Jefferson said all this, and I wanted to first get you guys' opinion on, do you think he would even be close? Is he top 5? Like, tell me your thoughts on that. But also, I was thinking, he might not even be the best on his own team. Adam Thielen's there. And then I look up, and I was shocked. Adam Thielen only had 67 receptions and 726 yards last season. Was he hurt?
He got hurt toward the end of the year.
Okay. I couldn't remember. I was like, and then it took me a while because I had to go pretty far back to see Thielen's best season, but it was 1,300-something yards. Actually, I've got it pulled up right here. His best season was in 2018, where he had 113 receptions for 1,373 yards. So Justin Jefferson already surpassed that. So maybe he's got a good claim here.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Jefferson is a pretty darn good running back or wide receiver. Sorry, he's a really good wide receiver. I mean, I don't know. It's hard for me to sit here and say that Davante Adams is the best because he had potentially the best quarterback in the league throwing to him. We'll see how he does with David Carr.
Yeah, that'll be
Derek Carr. Wow, I just switched those up.
You are really doing something.
Derek Carr. I mean, and Cooper Kupp just came out this year. He has a competent quarterback to throw to him too. So
yeah, well, see, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking if, even just the people listed, you could make an argument that Justin Jefferson's third to Davante Adams, Cooper Kupp.
But then you can also make the argument that Kirk Cousins is nowhere near those guys, but Justin Jefferson puts up the numbers he does. So
yeah, Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. He's just not good in the right situations.
Is he a top 10 quarterback though? What,
top 10?
Do you think he is?
I think
Mauricio says no.
I think he's probably close. Top 10. No. Let me.
Top 10, maybe top 10 greatest white quarterback.
We are not doing that again.
What did he say? White quarterback?
Yes.
That's been like almost everybody in the league.
Yeah.
No, Deshaun Watson.
Why is that the first name you bring up?
Tua. That guy from the Ravens.
That guy from the Ravens. That guy from the Bengals, Achilles Smith.
Okay. Now that I'm looking at the QB lists, I think I was very wrong. It's probably not top 10 because I didn't consider, and you guys know more NFL probably than me, but I didn't consider, let's see, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. I would even put probably, no, they're probably at the same tier. He and Matt Ryan are probably about the same. Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, Derek Carr, Justin Herbert. Okay, yeah, he's probably not top 10, but he's probably in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, I don't think I'd put him in the top 10.
Well, I don't know that I would put Stafford just incredibly high.
No, I mean he's
especially given his age.
He's not, but I mean I think Stafford's a little bit better than Cousins, if I'm being honest.
I could agree with that, but I'm trying to think of like. So, I mean, I guess he does make a good argument. He could be the league's best receiver. I'm just trying to think of like who would be in front of him. And I'm not off the top of my head. I'm not coming up with a whole lot of names. I figured you guys might be able to a little more easily than me.
Well, Let's see. Tyreek Hill, I think his speed helps him a lot. Of course, we'll see how he does with Tua throwing to him.
Mm-hmm. Jamar Chase, of course.
You got DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett in Seattle.
Oh yeah. Well, no.
I mean,
they're not doing anything with
no.
Who do they even have? Drew Lock and Geno Smith.
You've got Deebo Samuel in San Francisco. DeAndre Hopkins when he's not taking steroids and healthy.
That's true.
Let's see here. That's just the NFC West.
Stephon Diggs, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen. Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of guys you can make an argument for.
I don't think I hate what he said though. I think after I look at his numbers and consider it a little bit, maybe I changed my tune a little bit. I thought that might be crazy, but I mean, you got to bet on yourself, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, we've definitely heard crazier things said by players, but I don't think this is one of the wildest things that I've heard a player say.
Since we're running a little short on time, you want to hop into that photo you sent?
Yeah, I'm not going to share my screen just because I don't have the extra screen to do it. But I mean, the graphic. So it's most losses in NFL history. It was on Reddit. It doesn't surprise me because what you see is like the older the franchise, the more losses they have. That's typically not surprising. Yeah. But one thing that really sticks out to me is the Ravens have one more loss than the Texans, and the Texans have been around for 6 fewer years than the Ravens. So I thought that was kind of funny.
That is wild.
So I guess in this situation, the Ravens are not taking the Browns' history from when they moved to Baltimore.
Yeah, I thought that was a little weird too. I thought you could probably combine that. I don't know how you would do that.
It may have been like when the Charlotte Hornets came back to the NBA. Yeah. After they changed from the Charlotte Bobcats.
Yeah.
And kind of retook over the Hornets history. I had to throw in the Bobcats. We missed them last episode.
Yeah, we did. The Bobcats, coached by Scott Foster.
Scott Foster.
Them all in.
There was another thing I saw that the highest winning percentage the winning percentage of teams that haven't won a Super Bowl, and the only team that had a winning record was the Vikings.
Yeah, and did you see on that same graphic how horrible the Buccaneers were? With still they had 2 Super Bowls though.
Yeah,
it was really funny.
Yeah, the Buccaneers are a weird franchise, but yeah, the Jets are at 10th, and they've been in the league since 1960.
Jeez.
But let's see here. I'm trying to find like the best oldest team.
I was looking at that too. Yeah.
The Cowboys, Dolphins. I guess the Dolphins would be it. They came in the league at 1960 and 385 losses. It's the lowest of any team from that.
Where's that? Wow, yeah. That kind of surprises me a little bit, but I guess they were good.
Yeah. Had those early 70s teams and the Dan Marino years, but they've been awful since Dan Marino retired.
Yeah, so
for the most part, and we all know the Cowboys haven't won anything since the mid-90s.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know if you guys have anything else. If any other pressing matters.
No.
Mauricio is on his way from San Antonio to Houston.
Been a mostly silent episode for Mauricio.
Yeah.
I do say.
Oh.
He does say.
The last 5.5 minutes are going to be him ranting about something or other.
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be a difficult episode to get through with the topics, but I think we made it.
Yeah, we ended up going a lot about contracts.
Yeah, it might get boring to some people, but sometimes it's kind of fun to think about.
And leave. Turn us off.
Oh, yeah, we got into vaccinations, too, that people might...
Oh, yeah. We're going to lose everybody.
Don't backtrack now.
What's up?
Don't backtrack now.
Most network bandwidth is low. Classic.
Oh.
Yep. Anyway, well, I guess we'll catch whoever's left the next time. Average our
Stay with us, Giovanni. Stay with us.
Yeah, ask us more questions.
I'm not messing your name up.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'm sorry. But he probably doesn't watch this far into an episode either.
No, he might, though, because then he'll and when he does, he'll be like, oh, this shout out, though, is what I'm craving. And he'll never leave us.
It's one of our biggest fans.
It is. He's probably the one. He probably contributed a penny.
Yeah. So thank you, Giovanni. Anyway, we'll catch us on your what is this called? A podcast? Catch us on podcasts. Anywhere you catch podcasts and YouTube.
And you can't speak today.
I'm losing it. Yeah, so we'll catch you next time. Thanks for stopping by and get us another penny.
See you hoes later.
I didn't pass out.